intelligence, which has U.S. person restrictions. President Obama, I have a feeling, didn't care. He just told people to go out and do things. And this is where morally you have to have someone who is at the top willing to do the hard things of saying, it is my job to restrict people from using those things.
We don't have constitutional protections.
Precisely. And this is where we were going. And let me say this, and I don't know if Bill will agree with me or not. ATP 2829, the so-called Russian tool that we used to hack the DNC, Sean, we did it, not me, but our guy. Former members of NSA, retired intelligence officers, use these tools to break in there and get the information out. That's what the Democrats don't want to talk about because it doesn't fit.
You know that for a fact. You know the Democrats did it, or that former operatives did it, using the malware techniques that they put the Russians' fingerprints on it and make it appear like the Russians. In other words, you're telling me this whole Russian story that the media has been running with for months and months and months, that it was our people that did it and they just put the fingerprints of the Russians on it?
That's right. The whole idea. I don't have proof of it, but I'm telling you this is what I've heard. And what I'm telling you is that if you go back and actually talk to people inside, the evidence is not that the Russians did it. The evidence is a Russian tool was used. What I'm saying is concerned Americans who are fed up with the Clintons doing things, I think we're the ones who actually got in there and broke the information out and gave it to WikiLeaks. I've mentioned this to other reporters, by the way. They don't seem to be interested in going and checking this out because it doesn't show up
to John Sullivan and Sarah Carter. They want to hear this.
Well,
last question, Mr. Binney.
Yes.
You had told me that you say that every phone call, every text, every email of every American is gathered into metadata right now by our government. Every single call, text, email. Is that true? You know that?
Well, it's not just the metadata, it's the content also. Yeah.
And our government is storing every conversation.
And that's why I wrote that up in a sworn affidavit in support of Jewel versus NSA, challenging the constitutionality of NSA
and you say
collecting all this data.
Executive Order 12333 allows that?
Yeah, Section 23C.
And that is the same one that Obama altered so 16 other agencies could now share in that information of Signet. Wow.
If I could point out a greater danger here, Sean, the point is they know about all these weaknesses in firewalls, operating systems, switches, servers, and so on, and how to break into them, and they aren't fixing them. That means that everybody in the world, including all of us here in the U.S., are still sitting there all vulnerable to attacks.
Right, and they're doing it as you're saying they're doing it as a matter of course, and that's why you left after 32 years at the NSA.
And the point is that they come back to us after an attack and say, well, we need more money for cybersecurity, when in fact they don't fix the problems they already know. Right, and so they're not giving us cybersecurity. You know, so
this is worse than any spy novel I can think of. Thank you all for being with us.
They're swindling us.
Thank you, Sean.